But here we come then to the classroom. And of course, we need to rethink the classroom. And so many of you in this room, I know, are interested in this question in particular. So before I continue and analyze the classroom and what all this new media means for the classroom, I want to try like a quick little exercise. And that is, I want to see if we can all clap in unison. So can we just start clapping and see if you can all clap in unison? All right. Okay. Well done. Okay, so there's just a quick count. There's well over 100 people in this room, and it took you all of about 4 seconds to do that, right? And can the leader just raise their hand? Like, who led that? That's what's amazing, right? Like, we actually synchronized without a leader. We self-organized without anybody stepping forward and saying, like, this is how we're going to do it, right? But that was a very simple task. Now, educating America's youth is a much larger task, and self-organization maybe doesn't work all the time. But one of the things we do when we have a really complicated task is we create an institution. Where self-organization seems impossible, we create institutions. The problem with institutions, as many of you have probably experienced, is that it turns something that you're really passionate about, it turns that into a set of procedures. Or it takes something, it takes your passions and turns them into a bunch of roles and rules, like you have all these roles to follow and so on. And there's something sort of disheartening about that. It sort of sucks the life out of something that you're really passionate about. So the question is, how can you take that self-organizing stuff that we can see on the web, and it's so powerful that just stuff emerging everywhere on the web, and bring that into the classroom? That becomes like the art of trying to harness these new technologies in the classroom. So there's something there. The question is, how do we get from here to there? It's not an easy process. Now, thinking about institutions and how they can suck passion out of what we love, I actually asked this group of students here a very simple question, because they are involved in an institution here, the institution of higher education. And I asked them, how many of you do not actually like school? It's a really simple question, right? And over half of them rose their hands. And this is like something they pay for, so it's surprising that so many of them would not like it. And then I changed up the question just a little bit, and I said, how many do not like learning? And I got no hands. And so that really highlighted for me the center of the problem, is that we've created this institution that's supposed to be designed for learning, and yet these people who love learning actually don't like the institutions we've created for it. So it seems like there's something wrong there. And then I started paying attention to the cliches that my colleagues will say, and things that I'll say as well. And one of them is this: like, some students are just not cut out for school. It's a typical thing you say after a hard day, and you're dealing with students who just don't seem to be engaged, or maybe just all kinds of problems come up with students. And this is a typical thing that gets said, and nobody ever protests this. And that's why it's a cliche, right? I mean, it just like flows by, and nobody ever bothers to address it. And what's interesting about it is, if you realize, of course, that school is for learning, and then you try to replace learning for school in that statement, you get some students are just not cut out for learning, which is, of course, a ridiculous statement, because learning is the hallmark of humanity. It's what makes us human. So it would be, you're essentially saying that some students are not human, which is just simply can't be the case. So therefore, it must be something wrong with the school, right? That there's something wrong with the system, because you have people who love learning, and they're all cut out for it. So something's wrong. So in my own thinking, and I don't mean for this to catch on with everybody, it's just something that I sort of meditate on. It's just, I think of it as a problem of significance. Like, it's like students are struggling to figure out, they're struggling to find meaning and significance in their education. A lot of students approach the institution of higher ed as a game of getting by and getting the grade, rather than as a place to learn together. And so there's a whole like rift there that's happened, and fixing that rift has become what I strive to do in my own teaching. So some more elements of this are, these types of statements, and these are real confessions from my students, and they don't need any verification. All you have to do is sit in the back of a room during a lecture at at any university, and you'll see this, that they do Facebook through their classes. This student actually put her laptop up, says, I bring my laptop to class, but I'm not working on class stuff. And just as she did that, one of her friends IM'd her, and her IM thing popped up. And so, this is true. This student mentioning, I buy $100 textbooks that I never open. We know that's true. My neighbor paid for class but never comes. So we see, obviously, you read about this at universities all over the nation, students not showing up for classes. We did a survey and found that the students were completing 49% of the readings assigned to them. And worse, they were only finding 26% to be relevant to their life. And I actually view this as a 74% failure rate on our part to somehow convince them of the relevance of the things that they're reading. So this then becomes sort of the essential problem. And a lot of people attribute this to Generation Y or the net generation, that this is a problem with the digital natives, that they're tuning out for all these different reasons. But I'm not sure if it's a generation thing, because I actually was thinking, I was looking at this picture the other day, and then I saw this picture, and I'm realizing, like, these are the same people, and you just, like, there's something going on there, like there's something really exciting here. And so then I started expanding my horizons about thinking about the significance problem. Like, why are they not finding the education to be significant? And why are they finding this to be so significant? Why are they so into this? And so I found this great quote that I thought might explain it. This quote here, it says, "What we are encountering is a panicky and almost hysterical attempt to escape from the deadly anonymity of modern life. And the prime cause is not vanity, but the craving of people who feel their personalities sinking lower and lower into the world of indistinguishable atoms to be lost in a mass civilization." And it really seems to make sense when you look at American Idol. These are people who just want to break out. They watch TV and they see all these people of such great significance, the celebrities, and they want to be a celebrity themselves. They want to be recognized. They want to be out there. And it's not just for vanity, but it's a craving that they have because of this sort of deadly anonymity of modern life. And I thought this was a brilliant statement that really captured the American Idol phenomenon, but it turns out this was actually said by Henry Canby in 1926. And he was actually talking about poets who were sort of striving for fame, and why would poets be striving for fame? And there's a whole debate in the 20s, and you can read about this. T.S. Eliot was involved in this. Really fascinating stuff. But what Henry Canby was talking about when he says the deadly anonymity of modern life, he was talking about just the simple anonymity of living in a large city, and just how nobody knows you. It's like you're one in a million, sort of in a bad way. It's like you're lost in this big crowd, and you don't know anybody, nobody knows you.